Man, hold on for a minute. Let you get right for a minute, man. Checking my Facebook page.
Purchase your tracks today.
And my Instagram page. And my Snapchat page. We'll get back.
See you flossing on Instagram, Facebook.
It's the I See What You're Doing podcast. I'm Mr. I See What You're Doing, and as always, I see what you're doing.
Hey, Mr. I See What You're Doing. Running a little bit high today. We're going to give you a good track here from our buddy Jamal Nash. You can catch him on Monday nights during the TKO hour. This song right here is called Them Trenches.
Once upon a time, I thought taking things by deception or force was the best way to get wanted. I was wrong, and I know all about them trenches. It's old style. I know all about them trenches. I was raised in them trenches, hustled in them trenches, spilled blood up in them trenches. I know all about them trenches. I was raised in them trenches, hustled in them trenches, spilled blood in them trenches. I know all about them trenches. I was raised in them trenches, hustled in them trenches, spilled blood up in them trenches. I know all about them trenches. I was raised in them trenches, hustled in them trenches, spilled blood up in them trenches. Life ain't free, learn that fast. Miss one check, you on your ass. Credit great, but give me cash like Shrek and bring back. Let me slow down, can't get paid now. Fuck a Lil Jones with that cash out. Every day I want my child, need a lick, gotta figure how. All of eat for rhyme free, he professional, never panicky. Used to crack safes for jewelry, he got lit up like a tree. 13 shots, kid not. Look at his stomach, his belly and knots. Mercenary, he bout his guap. He'll rob an angel, so what he'll hide? I know all about them trenches. I was raised in them blood up in them trenches. I know all about them trenches. I was raised in them trenches. Hustled in them trenches. Spill blood up in them trenches. I know all about them trenches. I was raised
Yeah. So, welcome to the show. I had a little technical difficulty, but we're here now. As you can see, the new flyer, man. I try to do something every week to make sure that we get situated, and we keep the branding fresh. So, I like this one though for sure. Listen, we got some stuff to talk about on the show today. I got a couple of videos I believe I have logged up. One of them was interesting to me because I wasn't really sure how to navigate what I was seeing. But it speaks volumes to the direction that our country is going in. And I know that at some point, my dear friend Jason Joe is going to show up, but we'll see if Joe shows up. Welcome everybody to the show again. All in all, our dear president is still on a tear throughout our great nation. And, we spoke about 250 years of American history on Saturday. 250 of them. $250 years of video. 250 years of history intertwined with America, which we know that if you check the history books, the way that America started and the way that it's going right now has not veered away from, has not varied much. Varies a little, but not much. The ideology is still the same. Any system that you go into in America is the same as it was 100 years ago. It's just the face of it has changed. Um, we're slowing down tonight um, to talk about what's going on in today's world and the headlines. Uh, as we know, some news travels faster than facts, and social media does reward outrage more than accuracy. So tonight we're going to do something different. We're going to take some of the biggest political stories making the rounds and ask three questions. What did they tell us? What did we find? And what should we really be paying attention to? The first one is one that I found to be extremely interesting to me. Uh, if you haven't, you should research it because, I mean, when I first got it, it was appalling to think that I could possibly be right about what I used to say about America and the way that it treats its military soldiers, right? It was appalling to me, and I was hoping that I was wrong about it. I know that sounds crazy for me to say that I hope that I was wrong about something that I bring here because of the personality and the character that I have and the person that I am when it comes to doing the right thing for people and the American people in general. But let us dive deep into the thing so that we could talk about it. An active duty Air Force major was arrested because he called for Trump's impeachment. What we found was the verified reporting shows Major Jason Watson is his name spoke at a protest calling for the impeachment of President Trump and the removal of Vice President J.D. Vance. He was arrested by U.S. Capitol Police after participating in a demonstration on Capitol grounds. At this point, the reporting indicates the arrest was connected to the protest itself and where it occurred, not simply because he criticized the president. I want you to remember, active duty military personnel have First Amendment rights, but those rights are limited by military regulations designed to preserve the armed forces' political neutrality. So in that particular case, you would want the military to be neutral when it comes to politics. I would find that hard to do because you still have to choose a side, right? That's like saying when your team is playing in a sporting event that we want you to stay neutral and not root for your team. So whether Democrat or Republican, we can't say that you're in the military and want you to not back your political party of choice. This story isn't just about Donald Trump. It's about whether we expect our military to stay above politics. And if this officer had been praising the president instead of criticizing him, would we be having the same conversation? Because sometimes our principles get tested when they protect people we disagree with. So, if he was saying that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance was the greatest president, greatest vice president, greatest leaders of this country, what the Capitol Police have done, what they've done to him as far as arresting him, I bet I would say no, but I've been wrong before. I mean, shit. But I would veer to the side of no, they would not have arrested him. for calling for the impeachment of Donald Trump or J.D. Vance. But that's the climate in this country right now. You have to be careful of what you say. You have to be. I don't have to be. I don't have to be careful what I say about anybody because shit, I'm gonna say it whether you want me to or not. But you, as the American people, have to be careful. And I'm American. I'm not going to discredit the fact and say I'm not an American. But you have to be careful what you say uh, about the president and certain political figures because uh, they told you to. Me, I don't really like to subscribe to that type of shit because somebody got to be able to say bullshit is bullshit. I try to put a lot of thought into this podcast today because it was just some ridiculous shit that I was hearing. And like I said, I was appalled to the fact that I might just be right about this and then shit. I'm right. The United States government could care less about anyone other than the United States government and military included. So here's my question. And at this particular point, Joe, you can chime in. Should active duty military officers publicly advocate for or against their elected officials? I say yeah. I say yeah. I say you should be able to speak out against any of your public officials that are not living up to the promises that they made when getting elected. Any of them. You should be able to, well, the military, they say that people in prison don't have voters' rights and all that, but any avenue or any section or sector of the United States who do not agree with what your government is doing, you should be able to speak out against the president or anybody. And that's the case when you go into this because that's the case when you go into this shit because at some particular point your opinion has to count for something. You have to be able to say how you feel. You have to say whether you agree or disagree with you have to be able to say whether you agree or disagree with the way politics are going, or whether you agree with the politics and how they're affecting your life. You have to. You have to. And just stick with me if you hear, because the last shit is the one that I get busy on, and I'm gonna save it for last. So I really believe that we've come to a place where you're seeing a push for a dictatorship type of government, a totalitarian type of government, or Colin, would you agree that politics will return to one party in America anytime soon? Colin asked, would you agree that politics will return to a one party America anytime soon? That's what the push is. I can't say whether we go back to a total one party government. If we go back to a total one party government, what that looks like, I believe would be something similar to what it looked like before the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. That's the push to get rid of all these amendments, the attack on these amendments and DEI and civil rights and all that. That's the hand trying to turn back the clock. Most recently, the government, the U.S. Supreme Court shot down Donald Trump's attempt to get rid of birthright citizenship. So that was in the news most recently. I believe that there's something coming behind that, because some of the people that were deported from this country, children included, are birthright citizens if they were born in this country. I think that is the idea behind that. But they should active duty military officers publicly advocate for or against elected officials? They are. They already are. They already are. Maybe not on the clock, maybe not in your uniform, maybe not. Sometimes emotions get the best of you and you go out and do something that you're not supposed to do. But I mean, your right as a citizen of the United States, you should be able to voice your opinion and your pleasure or displeasure with the way that American politics is going. Segment 2 was crazy for me because what was said was that President Trump had talked to Theodore Roosevelt, which would have been crazy. But which would have been crazy because Theodore Roosevelt died back in 1919. So I went to check the video on what really happened. Here's what we found. Trump visited the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library and interacted with an AI-powered historical exhibit designed to simulate conversations with Roosevelt based on his writings and speeches. Viral clips circulating online often left out the context, making it appear as though Trump believed he had spoken with the real Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt passed away in 1919, right? So whether you support the president, whether you support President Trump or oppose him, this is a reminder to slow down before sharing a viral clip. Technology is making it easier than ever to create misleading impressions, not necessarily by changing what happened, but by removing the context. So let me stop right here, because this is when I do the shit I do best. You're dealing with someone who is erratic. You feel me? You're dealing with someone who is considered to be a loose cannon in my eyesight. He a loose cannon because you can't never tell which way he gonna go. You can't never tell what he gonna say. You can't tell what hour he gonna put out madness or nonsense, or whether it makes sense or not. And I saw a couple of other clips where he had did a rally with the Rough Riders behind him. Historically, the Rough Riders were a branch of the army, that fought in the Civil War. Historically, they got in trouble, and in come the Buffalo Soldiers with Theodore Roosevelt asking the Buffalo Soldiers to help the Rough Riders. So with that being said, it was asked that they helped him. So he did say that he had a conversation with Theodore Roosevelt. I don't want to go in too far with that, but he did actually say that he had a conversation with Theodore Roosevelt. So with that, regardless of whether you believe it or not, I saw the videos, and it does say he did say that he had an actual conversation with the president. with that former president. So might be time for another mental health check. And the third one, and then the last one, I'm probably going to take the whole half an hour in there. Colin said maybe it was through a medium. It could have been through a medium. I mean, he said, damn, Colin, you set me up, but I'm going to say it anyway, because he closer to the end than he is the beginning, right? So shit, he could be like, I see dead people type of shit, right? Yo, Colin Colin said because he could have been talking through a medium, and I mean, he said, in my mind, the way my mind works, he did the little mural where he painted himself as Jesus. So, I mean, it's up and down, right? It's in the air a little bit, left, right type of shit, but nonetheless, he did say that. And sometimes, we program these particular this particular avenue of media to say yay or nay to some things, or they program certain things in the news to kind of throw you off. The most important thing is to do your own research, but then go and look exactly at what you're seeing and listen to exactly what you're hearing, and you can decipher bullshit from the truth, right? You can decipher AI from reality. So, yeah, I'm going to go with my man C Dep. He's tapping into some shit that's not he's tapping into some form of reality that's not reality. And I found the word. It's called I believe it's called a mythlomaniac. And the mythlomaniac is a person who lies to themselves enough to where they begin to believe the lie. You feel me? So that's what we're looking at right there. Not that I'm saying our president is senile. Not that I'm saying, but because I don't want to lie to you, right? And my opinion always seems to leave a stamp on this shit, right? But I mean, and it always rubs somebody the wrong way, per joke. I still ask the question, why has nobody stopped this guy? You feel me? Who has not stopped this guy? DC, can you run that song again for about 3 minutes?
Once upon a time, I thought taking things by deception or force was the best way to get what I wanted, but I was wrong. And I know all about them trenches. It's old style. I was raised in them trenches, hustled in them trenches, spilled blood up in them trenches. I know all about them trenches. I was raised in them trenches, hustled in them trenches, spilled blood up in them trenches. I know all about them trenches. I was raised in them trenches, hustled in them trenches, spilled blood up in them trenches. I know all about them trenches. I was raised in them trenches, hustled in them trenches, spilled blood up in them trenches. Life ain't free, learn that fast. Miss one check, you on your ass. Credit great, but give me cash like Shrek. I respect them greenbacks. Economy slow down, can't get paid now. Fuck a Lil Jones with that cash cow. Every day I want my need a lick, gotta figure how. Call up E for a robbing spree. He professional, never panicky. Used to crack safes for jewelry till he got lit up like a Christmas tree. 13 shots, kid not. Look at his stomach, his belly in knots. Mercenary, he bout his guap. He'll rob an angel, so the hell high. I know all about them trenches. I inches. I was raised in them trenches, hustled in them trenches, spilled blood up in inches. I know all about them trenches. I was raised.
So to make a long story short, man, and shout out to the boy. That's a clean track, man. Somebody just got a nice little boost. Joel said, I like that you're taking your time before you say something derogatory about our president. Okay. Well, okay, Joe. When you become when you realize that maybe you should slow down a little bit, right? Because I still think a lot of the shit that he does is bullshit, right? Because I don't believe that he truly has a heart for the American people as a whole. You feel me? I believe that he takes us. He has a side that he's playing on. He has a certain group of people that he's playing for. You feel me? But at the same time, you have to remember, and I have to remember, human error. You feel me? And I have to also take into account the age of the person who's running this country. You feel me? We, at a certain age, you start to slip a little bit. I don't believe that. He is any more well off than Joe Biden. You feel me? And I mean, if you go back and check history on that, it ain't Joe. Historically, Joe Biden and Donald Trump had the same ideology. They literally had the same ideology. Like we I don't fucking say racist, whatever the case may be, right? Now, would you agree with me, Joe? Since we came in and I took my time to determine or whether or not I was making a derogatory remark about our president. Historically, if you would you say that our president has not always been in favor of African American progression? Don't worry, Joe not going to answer that question. Let me move on to the next thing. It was said here that our president had threatened Americans by saying that they must respect him or suffer consequences. Well, we searched for this claim. And again, I mean, the footage out there, man, is ridiculous. But we went to find out whether or not it was said. And a lot of this stuff, they take the videos down, they erase them and all. I'm waiting on your answer though, Joe. I'm gonna. So, we searched the claim, and we found, and we could not verify that Trump made that statement. There are posts repeating it, but we could not locate a liable transcript, official White House release, or reputable news reporting that those words had been spoken. He said it, bro. He said it. Because after so long, you're going to have to come out and say, listen, give me the respect that's due me, like any other president. But I mean, if you're going to garner or request or demand respect like any other president, then what has to happen with that is this right here. You have to do the things for the American people that warrant you getting that type of respect. You feel me? Now, everybody's not going to agree with you because nobody's ever agreed with every president, but this particular presidency just feels it doesn't feel right to a whole lot of people. Now, Joe would come in And Joe would disagree with me because he would say Trump made America great again. And I mean, back to one of the things I always ask: great again for who? And if you answer that question realistically, then we know who you are and what your belief system is, because who has it ever been great for? You feel me? 250 years of America getting ready to celebrate 250 years of American history on the 4th of July. And when you say make America great again for who? For slaves? Because it took so long for you to free the last slaves. Bad like guy. You feel me? Boston Tea Party was supposed to be such a great thing, but I mean, if you look at it honestly, it's just like rioting and looting of today's date. Back when George Floyd thing was going on, people were like going and tearing up you. And I'm not saying that it's right, because I'm trying to point out the wrong in it. Boston Tea Party, when they took all of those products and none of them belonged to them and threw them in the ocean. And it looks like you're celebrating vandalism and you're celebrating chaos. Who was it great for when during that particular time, you were still hanging people from trees? Shit. And that's at this particular point I should stop, right, Joe? Because I mean, now I'm not even talking about the president and the ones that's talking about the history of America. Right? And you celebrate calamity, and we celebrate all the shit that's wrong with America, but people say it's right with America, and people sell you the idea of making America great again. And I had said this before: making America great again means that it was great and it wasn't great. And if I had to give you how many years America has not been great for everyone, it's about 249 years. And I'm being generous with that because I could say 250 years. And oh shit, you're speaking against the country. I'm really not speaking against the country, because the truth don't have to be validated. All you have to do is go back and look throughout history, the history that they're trying to erase. The history that they're trying to erase, and look at historically who America was great for. And then that'll answer the answer is in the question or in the statement: make America great again for who? If I come on and say America has not always been great for my people, because history said that my people or African Americans was bought and sold and were not considered to be anything but 3/4 of a human being until Abraham Lincoln came along and signed the Emancipation Proclamation and freed the slaves. And then you find out that down in good old Texas, they were still hiding slaves and assassinated. Watch this here. Assassinated Abraham Lincoln because of what he did. Right? And then put Abraham Lincoln on the brown penny. And then Charlie Kirk got assassinated. And they passed a law, the name rolled after him. You feel me? Even behind the stuff that he was saying. See why? So one of the biggest problems in America today isn't misinformation, it's repetition. Once enough people repeat something, it starts to sound true. That's why we hold ourselves to the same standard, no matter who we're talking about. Now, should media outlets be required to publish corrections with the same visibility as the original story? So what that means is, if you told a lie, like make America great again, then if you should have the same energy with correcting the misinformation as you do with putting out the original information. What that means is the apology has to be as big as the lie. The apology has to be as big as the disrespect, or the apology has to be as loud as the lie that you told, or the misconception. Colin said, "I hate that campaign slogan. When were we ever not great?" Cool, Colin. I mean, he said, "Hey, man, since we just doing it that way, I mean, that's going to be tough because that everyone has their right to their own opinion. You feel? Like I don't know when America had ever not been great in some people's eyes. I can tell you what it looked like in some people's eyes. I could tell you what it looked like if you was a black man who went to war and fought for this country and then came home and you couldn't utilize the same benefits that they were given to white men who went off to the war and came back and were able to get homes and loans and things like that to provide for their families. I could tell you. But I mean, shit, somebody else said it was a great time. I could tell you that if you had the opportunity to use racial slurs against someone and spray with water hoses and sit and put and let dogs bite them, I could tell you that would not have been something great for. But that's just an opinion, right? That's one race's opinion. I could tell you that if you said that America was a land of opportunity, regardless of how you got here, and you crossed over to this country, and laws were put in place so that you could become an American citizen, regardless of how you got here, because when you come from overseas, Europe and all that, and you come here, or when you originally migrated and found out that the Indians was on this land already, then I could tell you, the Indians probably would say that America was never great because they stole this land. You feel me? Africans would probably say that America had never been great again because we don't have the same opportunity that white America has. And it might seem like I'm ranting, but I'm just saying, when they go make America great again, you have to look at the people who are saying make America great again. You feel me? And you have to think about the context behind why they're saying it. You feel me? Because it doesn't feel great for them. Again, it doesn't feel great for them right now because they don't get to do the shit that they did prior to this. The fuckery and the bullshit they did prior to this, like white only bathrooms, or hanging people from trees, and calling people racial slurs, and raping women and getting less time than someone else who would. But there's no double standard in this country. There's no double standard in this country. So none of that could be true. Right? Make America great again. But I agree with you though, Colin. I hate the slogan as well. But I also know it all comes down to what you believe, and sometimes what you believe comes along with it all comes down to what you believe. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, I believe that's what it is. What you believe in your mind, what you come up with in your mind, and that's predicated on your experience in this particular country. You feel me? And if you believe that the country has become something that needs to be changed or needs to be transformed back into something else, most of the time, the thing works perfectly if you just leave it alone and just not become such a big tripping hazard in the forward motion of the country. Now, here's the thing that we come to at this particular point. Do you want the country to move forward or you want the country to move backwards? Because we know what it looks like if you go in reverse. And just because you stand on the sideline and you don't say anything about it, and you don't put your two cents in, doesn't mean that you disagree. It just means that everything's hunky-dory in your look area, and as long as this shit don't spill over into your area, then it's not a problem. But prior to that, conjoined with that is the idea that as long as it don't spill over into yours, it's okay. But I mean, shit, everybody else could be fucked over, screwed over, fucked with. And I asked the question earlier, so I could just make an example. What do you call a pig that knows karate? A pork chop. The answer is in the question. What do you get if you put two chains together? Two chains. And if you combine a bow and arrow and a lamb together, you get a Lambo. See how simple that shit goes. Now, whether you believe any of that or not, what I just told you was a bunch of bullshit, because it means nothing to anything. You had women who had a right to choose what they do with their bodies, and the Supreme Court said, no, that's not what's going to happen. So they overturned Roe versus Wade, not because it was affecting anyone. They just had to put women back in their place. And the population, concerning the population, by what Joe Biden said, was by the year 2040, white people would be a minority. But how would that be? Right? The answer is in the, why did they overturn Roe versus Wade? Because we have to repopulate this. We falling behind, and we have to repopulate this country with our race, because we have to repopulate this country with our race, because we're losing people at a drastic pace. Also, opioid epidemic, drugs, and things like that. That's where that concern comes from. And I don't even know how the fuck I got over here, because I just wanted to give you an idea on some of the things that you should look at when you say, when has America not ever been great? Roe versus Wade and abortions was not set up for people of color. That's why we didn't fucking panic when they said, oh, you can't go get an abortion. That shit didn't hurt us. Feel me? The people that got mad about that was corporate America and white women. Because if you have another baby, I can't have another baby right now. I'm trying to advance my career. But if you get pregnant, eventually you got to stop to have that baby. And that could cost you some time lost on your career path. And normally right here, I would want to do a drum roll, but shit, I'm going to tear into this shit with a sword or a butter knife or something. But here's the thing. I caught I caught a story, and it said President Trump has authorized the federal government to arrest anybody who vandalizes, damages, or desecrates federal monument, statues, and property, warning they can face lengthy prison sentences. Damaging government property is a federal offense under Title 18 USC 1361, which carries penalties of up to 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000, depending on the extent of the damage. And here we go. First of all, let's go back. Let's go back. To January 6th. Huh? You didn't know I was going to go to hell? Yeah, I'm finna go over there to January 6th when the president stood up and told Republicans that an election was stolen. And sounded something, and I'm just ad-libbing, so this might not be true, but something to the sense of stand up for your country and go take your country back. Now, that's not, listen, that's not exactly what he said, but that's how the fuck it sounded when I saw it on TV. Go stand up for your country. And apparently somebody else, someone else heard it that way too. There was this young lady that they asked, why are you storming the Capitol? And she said, because it's a revolution. And the only thing that I could go to was Revolutionary War. Revolutionary War. It's a revolution. We're storming the Capitol. Storming the Capitol kind of sounds like storming the beach of Normandy. But here's the thing. You broke into offices. You broke windows. Talk about Republicans now. You went in the Capitol. You vandalized people's personal property, senators, and threatened their lives and all of that shit. Feel me? And judgment was passed down. Some people went to jail, and then the president came back and damn near pardoned everybody. Because we love this country so much. Feel me? That it's okay if it gets done on his behalf. Now watch me work this shit out and knock out all the kinks in this motherfucker before I get ready to head up out of here. Dear sir, dear madam, dear Joe. What's good for the old folks would say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Feel me? But you pardoned a bunch of revolutionaries who stormed the Capitol. You stormed a bunch of villains, henchmen for the Legion of Doom. Don't worry, I'll explain the Legion of Doom soon. Merchandise loading. Stay tuned, Joe. You're going to want to get one of those. The henchmen for the Legion of Doom, who were activated like sleeper cells to go and terrorize the country for an adult male who was throwing a tantrum because he did not get his way. Right? professional agitator. You are ridiculous. I will never support this show or you. I don't give a fuck whether you support it or not, bro. Let me keep it about with you. Keep it 100 with you, bro. You support me every time you show up here, whether you know it or not. I don't give two fucks whether you believe it or not, because hit dogs are holler. Can you hear Joe hollering? This shit crazy as fuck. Treason against the United States, strictly defined as Article 3, Section 3 of the United States government, is the only crime explicitly defined in the Constitution, narrowly limiting it to two specific offenses: levying war. Oh, you here to babysit me? Okay. Shit, you don't have to babysit an adult male, Joe. Levying war against the United States and adhering. Oh, he a hater, Colin. Colin said, babysit, what is that all about, sir? Adhering to enemies, adhering to the enemies of the U.S. government, right? So, if I said it's a revolution, isn't a revolution war against the United States, levying war against the United States, specifically the U.S. Capitol? Is that not so, Joe? By definition, isn't that not so? Of course it is. You don't have to answer the question. Levying war against the United States, right? You pardon a bunch of people who took it upon themselves and called it patriotism because they were acting on the idea that the person that they wanted to be the president did not win. And never before in the history of the United States had you seen such a thing happen in the United States. And then behind that, the law that was passed saying that you can be allowing, saying for the U.S. government, saying, so our president made the right decision on that tragic event. Joe said our president made the right decision on that tragic event. Listen, man, it's still treason whether you feel like he made the right decision or not. You get what I'm saying? The point being, now you have a law saying you can be arrested if you damage U.S. property. The answer is in the answer is in the question. You feel me? The answer is in what you see. It's in what you hear. You see how I wrote, I'm such a professional agitator, Joe, because the truth will set you free. This is your opportunity to get free, Joe. You don't have to show up here and say that you came here to babysit me, man. Because you told the lie is in what you said. I would never support you or your show. I didn't ask you to show up here in the first place. You feel me? But for some reason, you continue to show up because you have never tasted truth like this ever in your life. You've never had this experience ever in your life, nor will you ever get a chance to go anywhere and get this experience, because most people are going to lie to you and bullshit with you. Even your friends will sugarcoat and stroke your ego just so you can feel better. You feel me? The problem that you have with me is this right here. I'm such an intelligent and astute young man. I'm such a magnificent individual. I'm such a king at what I do when I show up here. You have to show up here because you take the information that you get here and you go back to your show and you utilize it on your show. Now, I'm not trying to browbeat Joe or nothing like that. I'm just saying, if you're going to come in this arena and play amongst the kings, you got to bring your crown in so that we can see. You feel me? And I've told you before, if any time that you wanted to debate with me, we can do it on this show or you can invite me to yours. You feel me? You have an open invitation. But to hide behind this camera all the time and play that game, man, listen. There go the information right there. You can hit me in my email. or anything, bro. While it's there, Joe, you should screenshot that picture so you can remember exactly who you playing with. Because this is not a game for me, bro. I show up here every week and I speak on the things that's pertinent to the American people. And I come here with information to give them some shit that they may not have seen. Feel me? And the only person that ever get agitated on this here is you. So listen, man, I love y'all, bro. Enjoy your weekend. If you're going to celebrate America's 250th birthday, do it. But know exactly why you do it and have a definite reason why. Don't go out and pop a firework because the rocket's red glare and the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. You feel me? Oh, you are a very good entertainer, but nowhere near a political analyst. I can never have you on my platform, and I'll never come. So now the invitation has been retracted. You don't have to have me on your platform. You feel me? I made Joe mad today, man, right before he got ready to celebrate the country's birthday. You feel me? I finally got up under Joe's skin. That wasn't my mission, but you see how Joe got aggravated. Joe started calling me names. He said they're throwing rocks. Professional agitator, wham. You're no political analyst. They broke this shit down to a science because I'm talking about if you try to speak over people's head and shit, they'll never get it. But where I come from and the way that I communicate with the American people, I give it to them straight up, blood raw, no motherfucking shake. You feel me? Colin said, I enjoyed your show very much. I will come back. That guy's a card. I'm going to give it to y'all just like this because, I mean, shit, at some point, Colin, we have to break this shit down to so everybody can understand what really happened. You feel me? Because up there, they talk on the level and try to feed you bullshit. Down here, I ain't got nothing to lose and nothing to gain by coming to you and telling you, I see what you doing. So until next time, man, Joe. And y'all have a nice fucking day.
Enter-effect.com, where info, beats, and design. Beats available for $30 and exclusive starting at $100.
Make your next move. Shine on with your girl like my girl. Yeah. So we can all go. Hey man, I'm going